okay, that's enough. Now you've been here fooling around with this ark and this guy Noah. You get off of that boat right now. You come out of there. This is ridiculous. You're going home with us. And she was on the inside looking at her family, her husband that she loved and her father-in-law that everybody else thought was insane. And she called out to her parents and said, I can't leave. You need to get in here. And they were very angry at her, and they went away. And then Noah's brother came, and he began to yell inside and tell those boys, get off of there. Your dad's nuts. And they had to be afraid. They had to say, how long? What if it doesn't rain and we've done all of this? If it doesn't rain, do you know what that's going to mean? And I had to think. They had to have some crazy thoughts going through their mind. It reminds me of a story. I heard this a long time ago. I've used it a couple of times, but I think it's a great illustration, and it fits this perfectly. I heard the story of a little boy who was alive at the time of Noah. And the story says that the little boy would go and sit, and he would watch, and of course Noah, being older, would have to come and take a break, and he would come to the supply area and sit on one of the boxes, and the little boy was sitting there, and the little boy would ask questions of Noah. What are you building? Well, I'm building an ark. It's a boat. This boat's going to float one day. And the little boy said, well, where's the water? There's no water to float your boat. How are you going to get it to water? The water's going to come. And Noah began to tell the little boy of the impending doom of the world. The little boy went home and told his father, he said, Dad, there's a flood coming. One day, the whole earth's going to be covered with water, and if we don't get on the ark, we're going to die. And his father said, who told you that? Mr. Noah. That's why he's building that big ark. You ain't seen that thing in his backyard? He's building an ark, and I want to get on it. Well, at first, the little boy's parents laughed him off, and as he got older and got more serious, they refused him to go to Noah's house. They said, do not go down there. That old man is crazy. We don't want you listening to that. We don't want you hearing about those crazy notions of the world's end, and you just quit going. And the little boy said to his dad, but Dad, what are we going to do when we need an ark? The father smiled at his son and said, son, if we need an ark, Dad will build you one. You quit worrying, but you don't go back to Noah's house. Well, many, many years went by. Noah continued building, but the little boy quit going. In fact, he grew up and had a family. Many years went by. He had an aged old dad and a family of his own, and he had forgotten about Noah. But one day it clouded up. Well, clouded up. It was always cloudy. But one day it started raining. Do you know they'd never seen rain? There's no account in the Bible of there ever having been rain until the flood. Never rained before. They didn't even know what rain was. And one day it began to rain. And at first the people thought, well, that's odd. That's something that's never happened. Water falling out of the sky. But after a few days, people began to be coming by the houses, and they would say, what are you doing? Where are you going? And they said, well, down in the bottoms, down in the valleys, it's all water. We have nowhere to go. We're going up. And sure enough, in a matter of days, there it was coming right up, and this young man gathered his family and told them, pack whatever you can carry, nothing more. We're going up. And he grabbed his feeble old dad and said, Dad, we've got to move. We've got to go. Pouring down rain. And they go outside the house and they begin to make their way up a trail, up on the side of a hill. And it dawned on him. And he stopped and looked back down in the valley, and there was the ark, sealed in pitch, the door shut. I don't know. There was a window in the very top of that ark. I don't know. But in my mind's eye, I see Noah looking out that window, shaking his head, watching those people move into higher ground, thinking they would save themselves, and they would not. There would be no higher ground in just a matter of days. And in my mind's eye, I see this young man look back at the ark, and there's Noah looking out, all the people going by. And in a tear between fear and anger, he looked at his own family, and then he looked at his aged father, and he grabbed him by the arm and pointed. And he said, "You told me when I was a little boy that if I ever needed an ark, you'd build it. Well, I need an ark, Dad. And my kids need an ark. And I think it's too late. I think it's too late." And they died in the flood. Dads, no greater, I don't care what you do for a living. Noah's job was preacher. I don't care what you do for a living. You better be an ark builder. And you better make an ark for your family. Because the greatest thing that can ever be said of you was that you built an ark for the saving of your household. Would you think about that on this Father's Day? Brian, would you come up? Virgil, I'm going to have Virgil come too, and he's going to close us in prayer. We're going to dismiss slowly. Make your way back to the back. Let me just tell you, tonight we're going to have church. Sometimes we've canceled church on Father's Day, but it's